And I guess word started getting out that, I was putting out good work, and then it got to the point where I couldn't fulfill orders fast enough. So that's when I got another photographer, and then another one, and then another one, and then another one, and then another one. So now I'm at 5 photographers, full-time, one weekends, and then a full-time assistant. And so we're just trucking along. I think it's really important to train new photographers like to the level that you're at, because I know that full frame has the option where I could charge a premium if somebody wants to use me, but I have polled a lot of our clients, and although they're willing to do that in some cases, in most cases I would probably see a drop in my business if I did that. So the Houston market when it comes to real estate photography is just really competitive, and nobody else is doing that. So I don't think that would work, but if you train your photographers well, and people want to, if they get to the point where they're using your other photographers, then before you know it, you'll start growing exponentially. That's what's happened with me. Like I added one photographer, then the next year I added 2 photographers, the next year I added 3 more photographers, and so on. So at the rate I'm going, we should be hopefully doing well in our market pretty soon here. I'm definitely not the biggest company in Houston, but we're but people have usually heard of us, so that's a good thing, I think. The first thing I did was, I simply synced up my Google calendars with theirs, and then I just, if an order came through and I couldn't do it, then I would give it to them. And then eventually people would start requesting certain photographers, and that made it a little easier because usually they're a little more available than I am, it seems. So that works out nice. And then eventually we got onto full frame, and that did simplify the process quite a bit because now they can go on the and click, who they want, or they pick the available time and see which photographers can do it, and that simplified the process a lot. So when I got a full-time assistant, her job originally was to schedule, and then when we got full frame, her job now is to just um, kind of help streamline that schedule, because sometimes Houston is a really large market, square mileage wise, and we might get somebody on the far east side of town and then have somebody on the far west side of town, and then we'll get another listing where basically it makes sense to move some things around. Full frame does a pretty good job of consolidating, but it's not flawless in that sense. So we do go through and kind of tweak it from time to time. In regards to full frame, I will say that I have looked into a lot of platforms. There's one in particular that is newer that is a little flashier, maybe arguably easier to use for the agents, things like that. And to be honest, I even kind of beta tested it for a while with some agents, but it did not work. So in the end, we ended up sticking with full frame because if you have a larger operation, like I feel like we do, then, or I would say if you feel like that's something you want to do one day, is scale up to that, to like kind of like what we're doing with multiple photographers and different parts of town, things like that, then I do think at this time full frame is the best option because it's pretty robust when it comes to scheduling people in certain parts of town and stuff. So and the payment system is a little bit easier to for the agents. We can send them an invoice through full frame, they can pay when they order the photos. We can send them an invoice through our other system if we want. However we want to go about doing it. We've got a pretty nice system set up right now.